One of those, I'll mention at the beginning of the report. If they're.
Oh.
We can pick it up.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
I'll say that.
after you do the roll call,
I'll show you it now.
okay,
So everybody's aware, so we do record the meeting, and if you're having little conversations, the recording is actually really sensitive and it will pick it up. And so then when we're typing the minutes, that's all we hear is jumbled stuff plus other people. So if any like conversations can just not happen during the recording, otherwise we can hear it. If it's really quiet, it won't do it, but if you can, if their neighbor can hear you, so can this. So just kind of keep that in mind when we're doing the recording.
And we are already recording, aren't we?
Yeah, but it doesn't start till bangs a gavel, which is
Right.
fine.
okay.
So just so you guys.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thanks, everyone. Welcome to a regular meeting of the Goldendale City Council. Sandy, would you please take roll call?
Yep, Steve Johnston,
Here.
Neil Wheeler,
Here.
Laura Meager is absent, Ellie Casey here, Andy Holm.
Here.
Danielle Covenant,
Here,
and Mylan Walling is absent.
Oh, thanks. Do we have a motion to excuse Lauren Megger and Mylan DeWalling?
So moved.
Second,
Motion and a second to excuse both Lauren Megger and Mylan Walling. Any discussion?
Did they call in?
Yes,
Only question I have.
yes, both of them did call. Yes, thank you. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thanks. Great. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda. And that's closed public comment. We have 2 times for public comment during our meetings. The first one is a public comment on anything to do with our agenda. The last one is an open public comment at the end of our meeting that can be for any subject that you would like. But is there anybody here now or on the line that would like to make a public comment on an agenda topic? Does anybody have their hand up on the line?
nope,
No? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the next item, and that's approval of the agenda and the consent agenda.
Move to accept the agenda and consent agenda as presented.
second,
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda and the consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, great. We'll move on to the next item, and that's department reports. And we'll start here with Police Chief Mike Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Yep. So I have a question for the council. If, how many vehicles do you think come and go from the city in a 24-day period?
In 24 days?
now we know because of our new,
What, 24 days?
thousands.
Thousands?
Like along the highway or in and out of
That
town?
actually come into town.
From the highway, right?
All our block cameras are within the inner city limits.
10,000.
32,000.
45.
I already know the answer because we had a meeting about it earlier, so.
What do you think, Fiona? She's
15.
15,000?
So in that 24-day period, there was 140,000 vehicles entered and left the city.
Wow.
The total vehicles that were in that volume that were one way that weren't repeaters were 94,309 vehicles. So with that data is, we have a lot more people coming into Goldendale than what most people think. So that's one of the things, the officers, we're down on traffic because we don't have the manpower we don't have a traffic enforcement officer, which is a great thing to have. So that's just kind of a reality check of what is really coming into our city, off the highway. And people that live just out of town coming into the city. And so it's a lot busier than I ever thought, but the stats don't lie. And so we do have the flock cameras in the 3 intersections, up and running. The ones in the park are still working out some glitches from the technical side to get it downloaded to the cloud via to our system. So that should be coming soon, but yeah, it's up and running. And so those are the latest stats for the summer and with all the activities coming and going. So there's a lot, I think, traffic that we don't see. So
Will that allow us with that type of data be able to be more eligible for grants and funding?
it could be depending on, each grant has its own criterias and that. We did get a recovered stolen vehicle. Sunday, we had a vehicle stolen from IGA. We were able to get it on the flock system cameras. We were able to track it to Wenatchee. It was actually a couple firefighters for the rural land fire. They left their other vehicle here in town, stole this one and continued up and were arrested in Wenatchee.
Wow.
So, yeah. So far we've had one great response from the cameras that got somebody's vehicle back. So
And how long have they been up and running?
apparently they were,
24 days?
So 24 days?
yeah, the last 24 days, I think August 17th was the
Okay.
first day they were activated. I just got online and was able to start viewing stuff this last,
Yeah.
Thursday. So,
That's just really cool. We already have one
yeah.
case.
Yeah.
One of the really things that big selling points I thought was the Amber Alert situation. If there's an
Yeah.
Amber Alert that goes out there, or the one for senior citizens, is it called Silver Alert?
Mhm.
Then those will really come in handy on cases like that.
Yeah, any vehicle, any
Yeah.
emergency situation like that, that goes into the dispatch center, automatically goes into that flock system. And we're tied in with Yakima, Dolphinish, Wenatchee, all the way up to.
It's a pretty surprising number to hear. how
Yeah,
many,
that's incredible.
People enter,
Hooterville.
you know what I mean? And
Can I interject?
yes, Dion.
How are they working at the park? Or is it just the entrances right now?
Just entrances. We're working on a technical glitch. The flock system is working on that now to get that hooked up to the system so we can actually view it. So hopefully this next week, they should be up and running.
So
Yeah.
you said, wow, so how many were you said there was like 84,000 that were, or 94,000?
94,309 were the it just picks up coming and going. 140,000 people came and went from the city. The 94,309 were just, not duplicate plates. So if you drove out 3 or 4 times through that, then that is that total number, where the 94,309 vehicles is only one plate, one vehicle going through that.
Mhm.
Incredible.
It's a pretty impressive number.
Asked me, or they just said, oh, Golden Dale. They, yeah, I think I've heard of it. I believe I've been through there on my way to, such and such place. And I said, yeah, well, it's one of those places that most people just get gas and digs and then they blast right through. You might see 2 of our entrances, but I'm blown away. Thank
But
you
that's
for
not
sharing.
along the highway, that's
Yeah.
turning into town.
Yeah, to get these numbers, you have to actually turn into Goldendale for almost, they're set in probably 3 city blocks. So they're not on the highway. It doesn't register numbers if people just go up the highway. So who knows what those numbers are?
That's how many people actually turned into one of our exits, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
incredible.
Pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
Thanks, chief. Anything else, chief?
Nope, that's about it.
The calls this month?
I'll do that at the first council meeting.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Great. So Juliana Ontiveros from the Golden Fire Department, welcome.
I just had a short update on the fire we had on Saturday. The fire initially started in Rural Seventh District. It was started, by a trailer that had hay on it. We're unsure as how what sparked it, but that's the origin of the fire. It spread, it covered a little area between the property line and the Three Mountain Village apartment. That's the only area in the city that was affected. But in the actual property from the whole fire, we lost a home, part of a shed, a pump house and some other outbuilding that we're not sure what it was. Had a great turnout, just it happens.
Well, you see how close that came to the Three Mountain Village apartments especially. It was quite the endeavor to stop the fire in the tracks where it was.
They were busy.
Yeah,
You can call the extra manpower out to evacuate 3 Mountain Village.
Yeah.
Until it got contained.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we were unable to get crews down to the house just because the trees, the grass, all that was burning and the other items around the house. We just couldn't safely get
Yeah,
anyone out there to fight at that point, so.
yeah.
What did you say you believe where it may have started?
The origin was a trailer with hay on it.
Oh,
We're not sure what sparked it, what started it, but we know that's where it started.
interesting.
Anything else, Juliana? Thank you, thank you. City Administrator Sandy Wells?
So we were notified by the Department of Commerce that our critical areas ordinance is due to be updated. So I gave you a memo that kind of explains what the critical areas are and a copy of the grant application. So we did apply for the grant. It's a $20,000 grant to help with the cost of that update. We contacted 2 firms to give us quotes. We also had a meeting with the county planning director and the Department of Commerce about possibilities of collaborating with the county on that ordinance, so we can kind of piggyback off of what they do as well. So we're still in the stage of trying to figure out if we can do that or not. They've had some issues with some of theirs, so we're not sure if Commerce will let us do that, so. But we'll keep you updated. The last time we did it was 2020, and that was for 2017. But we finished it in 2020, so we were a little late when they did that the first time. So, we contacted the firm that did it, that updated it the last time. And then the gentleman that did it last time, he is with somebody else right now, a different firm. So we contacted both of them and they kind of gave us some quotes, and we're trying to kind of work through that to see exactly what we need to update. And how much that's what we can do ourselves versus what we need them to do, because it's pretty expensive.
I just have a quick question.
Yeah.
It says the city of Goldendale was required to update it by June. So is it,
So
so is the date correct?
27.
2027. So it's not was, they are required.
We are
Okay,
required.
I just wanted to see which
Yes,
one of
we
the.
are required to do it. The grant application had to be finished by the end of this month, so we already applied for that. I got a notification that I believe they accepted that. So they said that they already had the money set aside for us, we just had to apply for it.
Okay.
So,
And coincidentally, Clickitat County is also updoing their critical areas
the
ordinance.
second with Theon will get to you in just.
So we've met with the county planning director and the Department of Commerce about the possibility of the city of Goldendale collaborating with Clickitat County as they're doing theirs. You know, hopefully, and to save us money is the gist of it, and to get the thing done properly at the least expense. So once we get all the information put together, the different quotes, and we'll come back to the city council to explain all the different aspects of this ordinance that has to be done, and get the council approval from there on which direction to go. Yes, Steve.
Would it be pertinent that we have a committee meeting to discuss our growth management area in regards to this, which we haven't done in a long time.
The urban growth boundary.
Yes. And it sounds like another typical case of state redundancy. It obviously overlaps our shoreline management. So,
We did bring it up to her that we already update the floodplain, FEMA floodplain, we already update our shoreline master plan, but this goes a little bit further as well. Talks about like lava, that there was, the mountain were to blow, what those critical areas are. And if there's any sort of rock pits in town, say there, that would be another thing. So it goes beyond just what those, because we brought that up, but it goes beyond that as well. Theon, what was your question?
Oh, I was just verifying that you said that we were hoping to get that grant for 20,000, correct?
Yes, so we applied for it and I believe, I got an email today that said that they accepted it. So I believe we're gonna they give us 10,000 for this year and 10,000 for next year for the work that has to be done.
10,000 for 2026.
2006 and
Yeah, then
2025.
2000 for
2027.
27.
It was a grant money that they already had set aside for us to do this, but we still had to put in an application for it, so. As long as we filled everything out and we had meetings with the Department of Commerce on how to get that filled out and how to proceed from here, but. We'll follow all the rules that we're expected to.
Yeah, so
So you're
the,
right, it is a lot of redundancy on that shoreline master plan. But it does include other things like, it listed geologically hazardous areas. Yeah, so,
yeah, there was the
We're learning
last
about
time
it.
we did it, there's been an update on the state, so there's a few things that, cause we could just, I mean, the town hasn't changed that much in the last time we did it, but they have changed their criteria. And so those criterias need to be updated that aren't included in the last one we did.
yeah,
So it's more to come on that.
yeah,
Well, okay, then, relative to the growth management part of it, urban growth management. I suppose we can wait and see what transpires here. But,
Yeah.
we've talked about this and I think we're well overdue to have some discussion on our growth management or
yeah,
urban growth.
the boundary,
Yes.
yeah. I think that'd be another good topic that we could bring up when we have, our next meeting with the Clickatack County Planning Department, is maybe we'll bring that up and see about that a little bit more too. Cause it has been a long time since we even had discussion on that. Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else, Sandy?
Yep, and so we also have an update on the incubator program. The council was presented with some information from one of the tenants at the incubator building concerning issues with the lease amount. Since then, the amount of the current lease agreement has been paid in full, and the current lease is no longer out of compliance.
And I also had an update, I'll do this at the same time. I had an update on the incubator improvement projects. A few months ago, the city had received a grant from the Clickatack County Economic Development Authority to pay for some improvements to that incubator space. Those projects are underway now. The concrete slabs have been poured and are in, and the rest of the projects are due to be completed in the next few weeks. That includes fixing the automatic doors that were having problems. Some issues with the electric component and ventilation system. And there was one other thing.
The door,
Yeah, the door. Yeah. So those are all happening right now, and that was grant funded through the county's economic development. So if you want to cruise on up there and check out some of those improvements,
I have a question on that. So I did go up there this last week
Yeah.
and took a look and wanted to see the slabs and whatnot. How are the semi trucks getting through into that? Cause it's kind of precarious I wouldn't want to back it up the way that they have to in there because there's a big ditch. Is there any thought about allowing them or putting almost like a tube and then filling in a culvert so that they can just back straight in?
I know they had some talks about that when we met. There was engineers that were looking at it that were providing recommendations. The one thing they did do is they widened out
Yep, I saw
that driveway, and not only did they pour that concrete slab for as trucks can unload there and forklifts will be able to come out, but they also compacted that whole parking area. Because if you remember before, in the winter time, especially in the early spring, trucks were having a hard time because they were sinking in that.
Yeah.
So that's all been compacted good, so that should solve the issues of the trucks getting in and out of there.
Could look at that maybe in the future if there's
Yeah,
money that we could.
yeah, they had an engineering looked at that.
And you guys know where I'm talking about.
Yeah,
where it goes in off of
It was
the-
all about how the drainage worked.
Yeah.
and The engineers kind of dictated on how that was gonna go. So that's what they came up with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Darling Street project has started. So you'll see the road is being tore up today, so that project is on its way. The water line replacement project, they have Mill Street left. and then some cleanup items, so that is wrapping up. And the chip seal project is all complete. So that one's all finished, they did all their chip seal and their fog seal on some of those roads as well. So, and what we've seen, had some positive comments on those, so.
I think it's really turned out good. See, we had some money left over that we were able to go through all those streets that got the chip seal and lay down a layer of the fog seal over the top of it. If you look at some of those streets like Second Street, and the only ones they weren't able to do that with was Columbus and Roosevelt, because that would have messed up something, but all the rest of them got that fog seal that kind of gives it a nice finish and makes it look newer.
That's all I got.
They got away with all of our fresh paint.
Yeah, we can't have that. Right. Okay, great. Thanks, Sandy. Okay, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, and that's council business. Councilmember Johnston asked that we have a discussion on the state of animal control in the town, and I would open that up to council discussion, and maybe we can give a brief overview of the state of animal control, what the law enforcement response is now. Maybe Chief Smith, if you'd give an update on how calls are dealt with presently pertaining to animal control and where we are now, and then we can open that up to discussion. And my hopes is the recommendation would be to refer the matter after our discussion, refer it to the budget committee. We should be having a budget committee coming up soon, and we can really go over the numbers of that then and get a recommendation from the budget committee at the end of the day back to council on this issue. But Chief Smith, if you might want to field some questions or just make a statement starting off.
Yeah, no, animal control's been, the last time we had an animal control officer was Mike Hussey. When he was the building inspector at that time, we sent him to the academy to get certified to be an animal control officer. That's what needs to be done in the state of Washington. So he was certified, he left, we have not replaced that. I don't have the budget for that at this time. Right now we do respond to dog calls if they're vicious. We deal with them. We contract out to the Carl, the vet clinic. He houses our animals right now, when he needs to be. He charges his own fees, which are separate. I don't have the exact amount. I can get you that numbers, but it's not cheap. But it's his facility. He was working well with us on those issues. We're still citing for dogs to run large, and we can locate the owner. And we do the dangerous dog declaration still. That's about it.
So I would recommend that prior to having a budget committee meeting, that either the city or the budget committee meets with the commissioners, the sheriff's department, because they have a grant for that. And I know that there's a drop dead date. There's not necessarily a drop dead date, but I think that they're going to try to put a drop dead date on it. The commissioners are for the sheriff's department, because some things need to be done on that end. And I think that if we all kind of rally together, we can work together on it and actually get something done, rather than just assuming that one small area or organization is going to do it. I think the more of us step in and say, look, we can do this part for you, you do this part, or whatever. But I think that needs to be done prior to us just having a budget committee meeting. Because we could talk all day long and say, we want it, we have no money. And that's what will happen probably at the budget committee meeting.
Yeah.
Unless we find out how we can help and what we can do with the other organizations.
Yeah, good idea.
I
Steve.
agree.
Okay, at one time, other than Mike Hussey, we did have a part-time animal patrol person. I think we allocated 20 hours a week. I can't remember exactly what the amount was, but we did budget for that person at one time. And I know the budget has to change regularly. You have to compromise here, compromise there. But I'm of the standards that if you budgeted for it once, you can budget for it again. I mean, that's me kind of blunt about it, sure. And we did have that budgeted at one time. And I thought we had an arrangement with Marianne at the other vet clinic here to work with us on impounded animals.
May I interject?
Yeah,
You're 100% correct, Steve. We as a council changed the job title of the code enforcer to include for an extra $15,000 a year being the animal enforcer as well. But when that was only for Mike. So when Mike quit, I don't know if the new code enforcer got that same deal, but we as a council never separated the job after we merged them.
It was an add-on to his position. It wasn't part of the original job description. It was like an add-on to his. So when he was no longer the building official, then that add-on didn't carry over to the new building official.
Right, we lost the police officer that was doing it on a very part-time basis. And then because we lost that officer, we added it on to the code enforcer. And then when we lost that code enforcer, it never carried on to the new code enforcer. And then we thought we gave it back to the police department for another 20, I thought we budgeted 20 hours. I believe Steve is 100% correct about that. We budgeted 20 hours for animal enforcement. And no matter which, I talked to Mike Hussey when he first got that job, and no matter who has it, we still have that deal with Marianne. Because I was wondering who was housing them and where they were going and who was doing the care. Because apparently that was supposed to be Mike's job. But Mike said, no. My job is to give them to Marianne, and then they're taken care of that way. And I was like, okay, thank God.
Being as how we don't have an animal shelter here, we contract with
Well, we've never had a contract with Marianne. We used Marianne for a while. There were some discrepancies with her billing and other problems we've had with attitudes with officers. So I've since canceled that and went to Carl, due to other issues. And so what happened was before, when Tom was here, he was a part-time animal control. We sent him to the academy to get certified. He retired. We put out for about a year, nobody would apply, we could not find any help, and nobody wants to do a part-time animal control job for what you have to deal with the animals and dogs and people combined, for what we were willing to pay Tom. Nobody in their right mind will take that. If you wanted an animal control, it should be a full-time position, and that is not in my budget. Once we teamed up with Mike Hussey, he was willing to do that. We sent him to the academy, and then once he left, it kind of got put back into the police department's lap, because we're the only other department that can actually enforce those ordinances and the citation laws on that. Mike had limited power to write citations with that, and I have the authority to give somebody a limited authorization to write citations in that. But at this time, I don't have the manpower to continue that. We do the best we can in between calls and, go to animal calls. A lot of times your stray dogs are just running loose. We try and get them back. If we know an owner or they have tags on them, we'll cite the person, and write a citation. But other than that, we deal with pretty much dangerous dogs.
So I guess what I would like to do, thank you, Steve, for bringing this up for discussion. I would like to agree with what Danielle said. We need to meet with Chief of Police. We need to meet with whoever's doing anything right now that has to do with animal control. We should meet with them so that we can create something within our budget before our next budget meeting. Because like you just said, nobody's willing to do it for the price that was set. So we need to figure out what price needs to be set to make sure that we do have something happen. Whether it still continues to be through code enforcement, through the city, or whether it goes back to you as, but I understand your struggles too, but we still need your help too. So no matter what, we're still gonna need your help.
Yeah,
Even if
appreciate it. And one of the things I think to remember is myself and Chief Smith have had some discussions with one of the county commissioners, and is what they have a grant for specifically that they're looking into is an animal shelter. Not necessarily an animal control officer as we've been talking about here, but they kind of go hand in hand. So we have had several sit downs with the county about this and just as recently as last week, and we'll continue to work with the county however we can, of course, within our budget. Is important.
Well, you say you've got really good rapport with that.
Right now, Carl's
Carl.
been above and beyond, and then normally our dog impounds are very few and far between. We just need a place to house them for the dangerous dogs,
Right,
because there's a whole different process that goes through that,
right.
so.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
some collaboration with the county.
Talking about quarantining and whatnot, if there's a
Yeah,
body.
we're not impounding dogs that aren't having basically committed a crime.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to be bit somebody or, actually dangerous declaration's been signed off.
So I guess let's just summarize it. We need to have a meeting set up with the commissioners, the sheriff's department, the police department, the budget committee people, and the vets. Is there anybody else that we're missing?
That would come.
Well, if we have the county, we don't need the beds.
Well, but the vets, to see what they could do to help. You don't think that Carl or Dr. Carl should be involved or anything on stuff that he could do to help, or no?
Not at this point. I mean, if they're gonna
Okay.
build it, if the county builds a facility, then that would be the housing. for
Right.
dogs. They don't need the vet clinic for that. We need manpower, and there's a lot more that goes on. I know the county has funding to build a facility, but to run it has been the kind of the key issue, because if it's a tri-city organization where the county runs it, Benj White Salmon would use it, we would use it, everybody would end up having to be a part of that somehow, one way or another, and so.
So we would need to acquire a land or space with facility. We'd need to talk code enforcement, sheriff, and the police department, county, the county, animal to create animal enforcement. And then we're gonna have to figure out what vets we're gonna use along the way. Right now, you're saying that, Mid-Columbia, and they're just getting a new veterinarian. So, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Great, thanks, Theon. Yeah, Steve.
Didn't we have some kind of collaboration with Dogs of the Board over the Dalles at one time?
There's been several volunteers in past administrations that we've used and had bad outcomes with, and we just start with volunteers, they do it for a little bit, then they decide not to do it no more, and then we're just kind of stuck out in the cold. So it's, one of those things that's hard to do. You've had volunteer people before, but then it's whose jurisdictions, who's in charge of the dog. We'll say the dog needs to be put down because of X, Y, and Z. And then other advocate things say, no, we won't put the dog, we're gonna give it to somebody else, and after it's been declared dangerous, it has to be put down. And so we've ran into other problems with that, or conflicts with other agencies and other organizations that really, it's hard to deal with that on we either have a dog catcher through the city or we farm it out and,
Yeah, no. Yeah, so I'm thinking more about the facility, the actual facility over there at Dalles.
yeah, I haven't talked to them, and I know that was probably 10,
It's been,
12 years ago.
it's been a while, but it has been discussed as far as.
Did anybody who hasn't spoken yet like to speak, Andy or Ellie? All right. Anybody else anything else, Steve or Danielle, Chief?
Now,
Theon, did you have something?
yeah, Danielle, when are we gonna do the Better Together meeting, or is it gonna
Has
happen?
nothing to do with this meeting. We can talk about that offline.
Okay, let me know.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks. Okay, well, we'll continue to work on that. And when it comes time for budget committee, we'll, bring this up again and bring back further recommendations. But in the meantime, we will continue to have dialogue with the county over possible collaboration on this topic. We've had a couple sit downs already, but we'll see if we can get something penciled out to present to the council in the
We will
future?
have a budget committee meeting shortly. We have one more meeting with Sarah. She's gonna clean up some stuff and then, we'll schedule a meeting to go over next year's budget. And
Yes,
then we'll have a workshop and some other things that'll happen for next year's budget, but we're almost to the point of having a meeting to kind of go over what we're looking at now.
yeah, we've already had meetings with the CPA and all of our department heads to go over where the budgets are at so far this year and what we're looking at for next year, and so we'll present all that to the budget committee and then to the workshop, and then it'll come to the council for budget time. Oh, great. Okay.
Appreciate consideration.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, great. Well, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, and that's report of officers. I'll start over here with Danielle Klevitz.
I just want to say thanks to the police department and the fire department for their quick response. I was driving, I got out of my car, smelled smoke, and literally everybody was over there. I mean, it was incredible to see it from that close, not getting in your way, of course, but it was really quite a sight to see. As soon as it happened, it was, I mean, everyone was on board and did great. So thank you for putting your lives in danger to save others. It's appreciated. Oh, one more thing. So the Solid Waste Advisory Committee, we're going through the new 6-year plan. And actually, yeah, it is 6 years, right, Larry? 5 years. Okay. Sorry about that. 5 years. And so if there's anything that you're wanting me to bring up during those committees, or the MCED, the Mid-Columbia Economic Development Committee, let me know, please, because these are all committees that impact our city.
Thanks, Danielle. And thanks for serving on those. It's important for the representation. Appreciate that. Andy,
Just to echo what Danielle said about the law enforcement and fire departments, the county and the city, just incredible to see that everything in action. It was
Yeah.
literally like 2 blocks from my house, maybe 3 blocks,
yeah,
to be able to see it and see them all working and stuff. It's pretty incredible. So
Yeah,
thank you.
saved a lot of property there for sure.
Indeed.
Indeed. Ellie Casey, thank you, Ellie. Steve Johnston. Oh, sorry, Theon, you're next. Theon, did you have anything?
No, that's okay. I think I already said it earlier when we were talking, so thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks, Theon. Steve Johnston.
Well, I'm gonna take this opportunity to pay tribute to an incredible man, Charlie Kirk, who had the courage to take his faith in God and his belief in the fundamental and traditional morals and values that this country was founded on, and have open civil conversation with people that disagree with him on very divisive issues. Abortion and the transgender ideology were just a couple of them. And in doing so, he exposed the hate, the hypocrisy, and the delusion of the radical left. And for this, he was murdered, assassinated. His message is resonating throughout our country and indeed around the world. If this does not wake people up to the evil that permeates our culture and society, then nothing will. God bless Charlie Kirk. Rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks, Steve. Okay, well, I just had a couple things. Just wanted to give a big thanks to all the folks, including the members of the LDS Church, the Posse Scouts, and several other community members, for they had a day of service on Saturday. They did a bunch of cleanup projects around town. You might notice they cleaned up a bunch of those old planter barrels on Main Street, got rid of the old ones, and then next year they're gonna put some new ones down. So it looks really great down there already. And they also helped put the dome up on the swimming pool and worked with the senior center on repairing their exterior wall. So, just another great example of people in the community, as well as a bunch of people from outside of the community coming together to, make things better, make the town look nicer. It's much appreciated and really noticeable. So big thanks there. Yeah, I also wanted to thank the organizers of the Congregation of Balloons that came and did the Hot Air Balloon Festival over the weekend. Man, what a great event that was to have come to town. You know, we met with them several months ago. They approached us at City Hall asking if they could use the airport to stage their balloons from. And of course, we were enthusiastic and welcomed them to town. And yeah, it was really great to have them. I know Danielle went for a ride the other day, and I showed up there on Friday. I was just gonna watch, and one of the balloon pilots saw me standing there and offered to give me a ride. And I'm a little afraid of heights, but I went ahead and took the ride anyway. It was a little bit nervous, I don't know about you.
I thought it was awesome.
Standing in a wicker basket surrounded by propane tanks and a flamethrower right over my head. But, you know, I said my prayers and everything turned out pretty good. It was great. And the pilot I went with, just a real nice young man. And I asked him, I said, well, how long have you been operating one of these balloons? And he told me that he had just gotten his pilot's license only a month or two beforehand. And
Was this when you were already up in the?
yeah, when I was already up in the air, he told me that. And so, but he was a great pilot.
It was
and
incredible.
You-
He'd been doing
yeah.
it since he was 8, but he just finally got
Yeah,
certified.
he finally got his license,
Yeah.
but yeah, what an experience that was. And we encourage them to come back whenever they wanted. You know, they're more than welcome to use our airport anytime. And man, I thought it was really fun. I hope they come back next year too.
It was good weather. for it.
Yeah, on Friday and Saturday morning, it was wonderful weather. It turned out perfect. They were going to go up on Sunday morning too, but they had to cancel that because the weather took a turn and there was thunderstorms in the area, and they have to be real careful about what they put, which is basically a huge explosive device up into the air, you know, so. But they're just real professional. They do these they're in a couple weeks, they're gonna have another big balloon festival in Prosser. And yeah, they go around and do that. So you know, we let them know that they're more than welcome to come. And the Chamber of Commerce, they were doing a lot of advertising for it to let people know about the whole thing. So yeah, I think it was just a great thrill. A lot of people really got a kick of just seeing those fly overhead. So
How,
I thought it was great.
how far were you for?
Yeah, when I was in, I don't know about you, Danielle, when I was in, we started at the airport, of course. And we floated just past the Seventh-day Adventist Church a ways out on Bickleton Highway. Maybe about a mile past that, and we just landed nice and smooth in a field. You went a little bit further than
I think we
that.
went a little further. We were having some trouble getting down because there was no wind. So
Yeah.
we were flying a direct flight over some trees. So we had to wait and try to find a place. So we did go a little further out, but we were south of Dandy Farms off and north of Bickleton Highway. And I knocked on the door of the people's place that we ended up landing in, and there was no one there. But thank you if you are hearing this. We appreciate it. And we closed the gate after we left.
Yeah, because you can't really steer those things. They just kind of come down.
It's
where
all the wind.
they come down.
So, yeah.
So-
Did you go up?
Well, when I could see mine, it said 14,700 feet, I believe, or 1,400,
Yeah.
1,470.
Yeah.
And, but I know we were up higher. It was not in my line of vision. I was on the other side of the thing, so I couldn't see it well. But the one time I saw it, that's where we were at. I
Yeah.
think we went higher than that, though.
Yeah.
How old were you?
10.
I guess.
Yeah.
And on Saturday, most of them, 8 of them stayed right around the airport area. 2 of our pilots, including mine, the same one that the mayor had, they decided to be rebels. And I'm thankful for it. It was really awesome.
Oh, it was
And we
great.
went further.
Yeah, I think this is another, you know, great use that we can, you know, utilize our airport for, and, you know, it was really great because they brought a lot of business to town.
Mhm.
There was a whole bunch of folks that came to town and spent a couple nights in our local hotels, filled up our restaurants.
I was gonna say Townhouse, they
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
35 people come in at one
Yeah,
time
and so, you know.
on Sunday. Yep.
It's whenever we can use our, you know, decisions to promote tourists coming to town, and spending money in town, helping out our local business and restaurants and hotels and gas stations. It just is a win-win all the way around. So, yeah, we'll be in touch with them and really encourage them on that. Yeah. Well, great. Thanks. And that's all I had. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda, and that's open public comment. I know there's lots of folks in the room that are here to make a public comment. And it's 3 minutes per person, but like we discussed before, if there's, I know you guys are all here on the same topic, I assume, and if one person or two people would like to use up the time of the others, we'll work with you on that. So whoever would like to come up first and make a public comment, please come up to the podium, state your name and area of residency, please, for the record.
Hello, my name is Laura Parlow, and I am extremely sad to have lost a true professional MD at our hospital here without any, they don't have to tell you why. And she saved my life. I'm very sad with many other people whose lives we would have never known. I had to have surgery recently, and that wasn't even, not known. It had been misdiagnosed, and she also helped save my daughter, who is not able to be here right now because she found things that other doctors just didn't have time or what have you, were MDs. And so I'm standing in support and in sorrow that our hospital doesn't care about us enough to pay for a medical professional. So thank you for listening, and
Thank you.
Sad she's gone. Now I go to Dallas for healthcare.
Thanks for coming. Thank you. Yes, sir. Please step up and state your name and area of residency, please.
Mayor, councilman, my name is Will Loman. We live out the east side, about mile post 7 and north there on a bunch of dirt roads on up Pickerton Highway. 2 weeks ago, we got a phone call that we scheduled an appointment with Dr. Rachel Sony was canceled due to her being fired by KVH. This has really resulted in a serious disruption to our continuity of care. Our child, we moved here because of New Hope Farm, with the hope of having our child with special needs eventually take residence there. So we've had our series of complex medical issues. Best doctor we've ever found in 25 years of life. Incredible person, took time. Asked more than just passing questions on symptoms. She looked at root causes. So she was a quintessential medical professional, very qualified. We want to know why. Of course, we asked, and I thought I'd have a face-to-face with the CEO, Jonathan Hatfield. Got a secretary, he's not available. A lot of legalities are confidential. We can't talk to you really about it. So doesn't keep us from asking really dumb questions. One doesn't get asked. So we are continuing to want to know about this. Our fact finding began with talking to former patients, moved to talking to former employees of the hospital. And we've met with them. A couple have been fired. Others have just left because of the toxic work environment. Very much a good old girl system of understand at the hospital. I'm not going to worry with non-facts, but there's the odd chance that many of you are friends with all the staff members or the commissioner staff. We would like to know more why. Actually, we would just love to have her back. She would have her job back. She was told no calls. Here's probably the best person they've ever had. Speculation is that she took too much time with people. Wait time in the Memorial Hospital ER right now is 8 hours. I don't see anybody getting fired there. So we've never had any wait time that I think is any longer than any time that we've had for any other doctor. So she attended to us. this has prompted me to actually make a FOIA request and talking to people and getting more information. We found out just this afternoon, this was a high profile firing. I mean, how many people do you know that are doctors with this many degrees and making $250K a year? Is that my time?
Go ahead and finish your thought there, sir.
So even one of the council, the commissioners contacted us today and said, it's the first I've heard about it. This is 2 weeks ago. You would think there would have been some advising and some deliberation to those who are in charge of overseeing hospital administration. This happened internally and we're allowed to conclude if council and if commission members didn't know about it. So we rise to be more return on Rachel so that we can hopefully get her reinstated and if not, get her set up in practice here. But we want to be looking at other aspects of stewardship for the hospital because we understand that we all own this hospital. Our taxes pay for it. We need to know. We're going to be looking at things like salaries. Why did we pay this much money for a non-operative emergency backup system, hydrogen cell power system, and $800K for a kitchen remodel that serves 4 people? This must be a nice kitchen. Question is in the mind of stewardship. So we rise to just raise awareness through to city council of our concerns as citizens. We just had a peaceful protest watched by everybody, including your staff. So thank you for hearing us.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thanks. Yes, please state your name and area of residency, please.
My name is Veronica Clevidence. I live on East Broadway in town. And I have to say, Dr. Sonny is the best doctor I've ever had in my sadly almost 60 years of life now. And I've noticed from the beginning that she really listens. And I know my sister over here has heard me go on and on about her and say, I'm so sorry you go to the VA because I wish you could go to Dr. Sonny. She's amazing. And she listens. She listens to everything I say and gives weight and credence to research I've done and to me telling her what is going on with my body. And so many doctors poo-poo what a patient says and really don't listen or dismiss what a patient feels about their own body and what's going on with them. She listens. And I saw her 2 days before I got the call saying that I had to reschedule my my appointments. And when I got that call, I was so angry. I immediately found her husband on Facebook and I messaged him and I said, please let her know that I'm so angry and I know it wasn't her. And I know why. And I know no matter what they say, that's because the time she spent with us. And of course, the management, any kind of a management situation isn't going to want a doctor that's going to spend time with their patients like that because they want to move through and they want the quantity. But I'm here to tell you, we want the quality.
Mm-hmm.
And we are valuing that quality. And our tax money goes to pay for this hospital and this clinic. And it is what we have available here as Goldendale residents. And having no say in what is going on there and in the care that we get in this way is incredibly concerning to me. I had to give up the insurance I had to come here. Now I have a huge deductible. This is the only place I have to go. And now I lost the doctor that I really resonated with and that really made me feel good about what was going on with my health and with my care and with what my future might look like. And I'm not one of these people that can say she saved my life. My life wasn't in danger. I'm pretty healthy. But she's helped me lose weight. She's helped me quit smoking. She's helped me just really get my life back on track. And most doctors wouldn't have taken the time. And because she did, she's no longer a doctor. And that's something that we all need to really look at, that's what KVH is doing. They're taking doctors like that and getting rid of them. That's a problem.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sorry.
Thank you. Please state your name and area of residence, please.
My name is Rose Mahoney and I live out on miles and miles of dirt road. Just off of Sadis Pass on Tacoma. Will and Victoria pretty much said it, Veronica, pretty much said it all, but, I guess I just want to underscore what they've already said. And just to kind of give my story, I look very healthy, but I have some complicated medical issues, multiple ones. And I moved here in August from Walla Walla, where it was a Providence healthcare system. I didn't expect, we had all kinds of problems and I did not expect good care from Providence. It's a for-profit. Very happy when I moved to Goldendale, the quality of care I got from the hospital, when I had an emergency and I broke my ankle and my leg. And there was a notable exception with one of the doctors there and another exception with the receptionist, but over and above that, everyone has been awesome. I ended up in the hospital in the Dalles. I had to have a primary care provider before they would let me go home. So I just picked somebody and it was 3 months before I started. She has worked through my issues one by one, which are not life threatening, but they're definitely quality of life stuff. You know, I had just retired moved here. I didn't expect that my life was gonna be dealing with this. I thought I hit the Mecca. I thought it was, golden. Terminating her so quickly with no chance for her to provide any outside resources for us or anything leaves us. It stopped. I have to have surgery next month. And I have to go tell the surgeon and, when they ask me who my primary care provider is, I'm gonna say, I don't know. I don't have one. It takes a while to establish one. I went to Sunnyside to see a specialist, went to the hospital to have blood tests, almost did not get my blood test because I didn't have a primary care provider. I'm not kidding, this is crazy. And if I have to go out of town for a primary care provider, my taxes aren't gonna support this hospital. I don't see why, if I can't get the services here. And then if I do get one, if I do find another one, or if they bring her back, which I totally wish they would, am I gonna lose that one too? I mean, I feel like this has been a pattern, from what I understand. And this is a problem. I expected better. I was so happy, and then this happened. So some of my issues can be aggravated by stress, and this did not help. I know that you can't do anything, but you should know what's happening and how people are feeling. I appreciate you listening to me.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else like to make a public comment?
I just second what they've all said.
Would you like
Brandy
to?
Reed, Goldendale,
Sure.
family, friends, neighbors have all had their lives turned around and saved by Rachel Sony. And it is a sad shame that KDH has dismissed. And I do know people in the system, and these private conversations come up often. We are dismissing this person. We will not renew this person. So again, everybody here, you guys included, should be concerned with what is going on there. Okay, we have lost doctors and we take our business elsewhere and it hurts this community. So again, we're losing a really good doctor who cares and who has stuck their neck in the noose to say, I'm gonna bet everybody here, and this is only a handful, guys. You haven't dealt with her, you've missed out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody on the line that has their hand up? I don't want to ignore anybody on the line. Is there any hands up there, Sandy, of people that want to make a public comment?
No, but I just wanted to respond to the public comments.
Okay. Go ahead, Theo.
Dr. Sony was my doctor, and I feel the loss greatly, and I have no idea what's happening next. I do feel like the abruptness of how they let go of her, and for the reason we all got kind of left high and dry. And I know they're doing the best they can to try to fill those shoes, but that's not going to happen. We've never had anyone like her here. And I honestly, she is the best doctor I've ever had in my entire life. And she did save my life.
Thank you, Theo. Anybody else in the crowd like to make a public comment? Want to make sure everybody has a chance. Anybody else on the line have their hands up? I can never see the good night. Roger, yes, you have a public comment, Roger? Please state your name.
Roger Nichols, and calling from my home in the Dalles. And I can always count on Steve to be thinking about larger issues than just what involves the city. So I would hope he won't mind that I'd like to point out that 1 minute after the gentleman he spoke about was shot over in Columbine, a school shooting, critically injured 2 people, and the perp shot themselves. Thank you for saving the state some money. But in the year so far, we've had 57 school shootings in the United States. That's one every 4.5 days since January 1st. And all we can think about is one individual. I think we need to take a wider look at the problem in this country from all sides, which do not get along. Thank you, Steve, for bringing that up. Do appreciate that.
Thank you, Roger. Anybody else? Yes, Steve.
I'd like to comment on the subject that has been brought up by these folks here. Certainly we, as the city council, we can't do anything except listen. Roger Nichols, reports for the newspaper, was listening. You're making your voices heard, and I am on board with you. I use Dr. Andre Soni, PA, and he alluded to the same bedside manners and patience that his wife did. My wife used Dr. Soni, Rachel, and was felt the same way about her. And I've used this hospital up here for almost 65 years, most of my adult life. And in the last 10 years, I've noticed the degradation, watching it go downhill. And it is internal, and part of the onus does fall on the hospital board. Them being unaware of it is unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. There are some answers that need to be got here. And you folks are on the right page here. And I hope you keep pushing, because there is something terribly wrong with this hospital. What it is, none of us know. They call it internal. Well, okay. But it's failing the people of the hospital district. And the worst part of it is, yes, we are paying for this. And that's unacceptable. So keep up the good fight. Hopefully we'll find something out. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Bringing this up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, any last public comment? Just wanted to make sure. Yes, please.
Again, I'm Veronica Clevidence. I live on Goldendale, or I live on Broadway in Goldendale. I just wanted to say that I've heard a lot of scuttlebutt in town that it's so hard to get good doctors here. And this is just another side of the story that I was just thinking about, because you brought up Andre Soni as well. Excuse me. And I haven't met him. But KVH brought 2 good providers here, 2, with a promise of a good life and an income and a good place to live, etc. And by getting rid of one grade 1, when it's so hard to bring providers here, are they gonna lose 2? Just a thought. Just wanted to leave you with that.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Unless there's anybody else that would like to make a public comment, last chance.
Oh, Roger.
Roger.
I just want to respond, Steve. Yes, absolutely. I will be reporting on this. And I have to say that we went through a similar situation in the Dalles where the surgeon that performed 2 wonderful knee operations on me was suddenly let go by Adventist. No warning, no nothing. So something's going on here. Usually when that happens, there's something that they have a problem with the individual, and sometimes it's money. So we'll just throw that thought out there. Thanks.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you, Roger.
Okay, if there's no one else, I'll close public comment and I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Andy made the motion, Ellie seconded. Any discussion on adjournment? All in favor?
Aye.
I
Opposed? Thanks.
Too late.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank
Yep.
you.
thank you all for coming.